Hey guys, good evening. I'm just going to read to you guys from John 21, and we'll start in verse 10. Verse 10. So it begins like this. It says, bring some of the fish you've just caught. This is Jesus talking to the disciples. This is after his resurrection. The disciples are out fishing, and then they see Jesus on the shore, and they hurry themselves to the shore. They know it's Jesus, so they kind of speed over there. So then Jesus says to them, bring some of the fish you've just caught, Jesus said. So Simon Peter went aboard and dragged the net to the shore. There were 153 large fish, and yet the net hadn't torn. So this was another miracle of Jesus. You know, were fishing all night, and then he told them where to throw it in, just like when they had met, and then they catch a ton of fish again, exactly where Jesus tells them to. Now come and have some breakfast, Jesus said. None of the disciples dared to ask him, "Who are you?" They knew it was the Lord. Then Jesus served them the bread and the fish. This was the third time Jesus had appeared to his disciples since he had been raised from the dead. After breakfast, Jesus asked Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" "Yes, Lord," Peter replied. "You know I love you." "Then feed my lambs," Jesus told him. Jesus repeated the question, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord," Peter said. "You know I love you." "Then take care of my sheep," Jesus said. A third time he asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" Peter was hurt that Jesus asked the question a third time. He said, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." Jesus said, "Then feed my sheep." You know, as we look at this and we look at it quickly, we know that this is after, Peter had denied Jesus 3 times. So, what a lot of scholars tell us, and which I believe is true, is that Jesus was reinstating Peter. For every time he had denied him, he asked him the question, "Do you love me? Let's get these things straight. Let's get our hearts straight." But I also see something else, and I've taught this before. I also see something else. Jesus is telling Peter a certain secret about feeding the sheep. What would we call that? Ministry, right? Whether it's within the established church or outside of it, feeding the Lord's sheep, feeding the believers and those that are called to him. So, we see something, and Jesus asks Peter a certain question, and then he states something after that question. So he tells us some information there, and he asks him, "Peter, do you love me?" And he says, "Yes." And Jesus doesn't finish by saying, "Good, I'm glad you love me." No, he says, "Let that love be the motivation for what I'm going to ask you to do. Feed my lambs," right? Feed my lambs. Feed my little ones. Okay. Well then, Peter, do you love me again? "Yeah, I love you." "Well, listen, if you love me, let it be the fuel so that you can feed my sheep." So, he's telling Peter something. Now, this might seem like something, okay. So, what are you getting at, Dave? See, a lot of times, as humans, when we go serve in a certain place, it's because because we love the people. We love those going out there. And I've said this before, but I was told this, Dave, if you go to serve people, don't let your love for them be the ultimate motivation of you serving them. You can love them. It's great. You can love them. But let your love for Christ be the motivation, the inspiration, the fuel to go out there, because your love for Christ won't die. Your love for people may be hot and cold at times. Why? Because as ministers, we go out there, we serve people, and you find out, and this was what was told to me, you go out there and you find out that the people bite, the people kick, the people say things about you, the people don't like you. Your missions field kicks back at you. And if your motivation was your love for them, you're going to walk away. You're going to say, you know what? You're going to grow disenchanted, disillusioned, and just walk away. But if your motivation was Christ anyway, Christ is the one ministering to you, loving you, feeding you from his word, and you're going out there and you're loving the people, he will give you a supernatural love for the people that you're serving anyway. You'll love them past their imperfections. The same way the Lord loves us past our imperfections. So I feel he was saying to Peter, let your love for me be the fuel to feed my sheep, to serve my people. So that's pretty much it.